third grade, let's talk about matter. Matter is, well, I guess everything, really. The two qualifications for something to be considered matter, a scientific term, is it has to have weight, it has to take up space. So when you think about it, Ruth's dog Pickle, matter, it takes up space and it weighs. I'm matter, you're matter, our cups matter. So this is a way in science we describe basically a thing, anything. But let's be a little more specific because this feels vague and weird, right? There's solids. My phone is a solid. These scissors are solid. The old noggin is solid. Then there's liquids like the rain outside or our coffee or for you guys, milk or water, the ocean. And then there's gas, like the air we're breathing right now, or helium that goes in a balloon and makes your voice really squeaky like this. Or when you toot in the car and what you smell, that's gas. But we don't see gas all the time, right? So if gas is matter, it has to take up space and it has to have mass or weight. So let's look at this video and this investigation to show what gas looks like, since right now I'm looking around and I don't see the air around me. Watch with me, guys.
We can prove it by doing an experiment. Science. Let's start by asking the question, is air matter? Because if it is, it should take up space and have weight, right?
This is true.
To see if air takes up space, look it. I can easily drop an empty balloon into this little box, but a full one won't fit. That's because the air that fills the space inside the balloon is bigger than the space inside the...
So when she filled up that balloon, it didn't make air, right? She just took air from inside her body and air from the environment and put it in the balloon. Now we can kind of picture it in our mind. Even if we peeked in that balloon, it would look like it was completely see-through. Teeny tiny particles of air are in there. We know that. Let's keep going.
The box. Now, does air have weight? Let's try something else.
Number 2.
Take 2 empty balloons and tape them to the ends of a meter stick. Then we'll hang the meter stick on a string so that it's perfectly balanced.
The scale.
Now let's see what happens if we blow up just one of the balloons and put it back on our meter stick. Check it out. The end with the full balloon sinks. It weighs...
So why do you think that balloon is sinking? What's inside there? There's something inside that full balloon that's not inside that collapsed balloon. And it's a lot of air, right? She huffed and puffed and blew it up, and now it's heavier. So it takes up space and it has mass. So I guess we can all agree that gas is also a form of matter.
We can prove it by doing...
So let's go ahead and revisit the 2 states of matter. The 2 properties of matter. A property is how we describe what something looks like or how we identify it, okay? So the first property of matter is it has mass. And I put a picture of a scale here because the scientific way of saying weight is mass. So how heavy something is. And the second thing is it takes up space. You can't see her right now, but there's a little girl blowing up a balloon. And the girl's taking up space, the balloon's taking up space. Right now, you and I are taking up space. So anything that takes up space, even if it's a tiny, 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 tiny piece of paper, it still takes up some space and it's matter. Okay, let's talk about, though, more specifically. These are both solids, my phone and my scissors, but they're very different solids. So if I wanted to describe these using their properties or what they're like, not what they're used for, but what they're like, I need to think of some words to do that. Let's see. Okay, so let's talk about how we can describe matter. There's 4 different things we can do. There's size. There we go. There's size, shape, color, and texture. So when I have my cell phone here, the texture is smooth, I would say. Sometimes sticky if I set it on the counter and I don't know. Hopefully my cell phone is not wet. That would be a problem. The shape. Let's see. The shape of an iPhone. What do you guys think? It's kind of an oval rectangle shape. The color for my phone is black, but I know there's lots of different colors out there of phones now. And the size is, I would say, small compared to a car or anything else. When I use size, I usually use a comparison. My iPhone is small compared to my car. Because if I just say small, if someone has an 18-wheeler truck, they think a car is small. So I try to explain it that way. And then now let's think about the scissors I just had. For the scissors, here I am. For the scissors, we can describe these as smooths, same as the phone, but definitely sharp. These are like really sharp thread and fabric scissors, so very sharp. Don't want to touch those. Not soft, pretty hard, kind of cool to the touch. The shape, oh boy, kind of a triangle, but it also has some ovals here, pointy. The color is blue and silver and black, and the size, I would say, is also small. So some of these properties are the same, even though they're different items. You are going to have a must-do. Must-do task number 3 is going to be a Google form where I give you some different pictures of objects, and you're going to give me some words to describe matter. So we want to remember the texture, how does it feel? The shape of it, the color, and how big it is, the size. Those are all good ways we describe matter. Okay, we talked briefly about this, but let's look back. There are 3 states or 3 types of matter: solids, liquids, and gases. Solids are anything that we pick up and hold: a hat, a skateboard, a pencil. Snow is a solid because it's like little pieces of ice. A tree, a table. And look at liquids: water in the pool, tea, milk, juice, rain. Right now it's raining outside in Kansas City, so that's a liquid. And then gas, wind from a fan or steam. Has anybody ever seen their parents drink a cup of coffee in the morning and there's like little pieces of air kind of shooting out of it? That's steam. That's hot liquid that turns into a vapor and goes into the air. So not only do these look different, but if we looked at them under a microscope, they would look really funky different. Really funky, really weird. So let's see what each one of those would look like. For solid, the molecules are really tight together. Make your hands into 2 really tight fists. So tight that they can't move. They just keep trying to move and they go like this. And that's why the shape doesn't change. My iPhone shape doesn't change. It's the same shape as when I got it. If I put a different case on it, it would change, but the actual phone, same shape. Now a liquid, they're kind of together, but they're like this. See if you can make your hands go like this, like liquid. They just kind of bounce around on each other. And we know with liquid, when you pour it into a cup, if you keep pouring, you know what'll happen? Overflow. And then it goes out of the cup container and onto the counter and onto the carpet. And maybe Pickles is licking it up. We don't know. You're sorry, Mom, sorry, Dad, I just spilled juice on the floor, right? So liquid will go into any container you put it in. If you pour 1 cup of water into a pool, it'll flatten out to fill up that pool. If you pour 10 gallons of water into a pool, it'll start filling up, right? It just spreads out into whatever you put it in. Now gas, this is what the molecules look like. Make your molecule fists, and they're like, they don't want to be by each other. Ex-girlfriend and boyfriend, they do not want to be anywhere near each other. So they're going through the air really fast like this, and that's why we can't see them because they're moving so fast. Okay, so we can't see them anywhere. So now we've talked a little bit about it, and we're going to work together to make a flip book. It's going to look like this when it's done. So we can remember all of these things we just talked about and even maybe learn a little more. So go ahead and grab these supplies: plain paper, coloring markers, pencils, and scissors, and go back to your must-do-may-do board and hit video 2. See you there.